Welcome back to Insights, where we explore practical strategies to help leaders and teams thrive. Today's episode is about one of the toughest words in leadership. No, it's short, it's simple, but let's be honest, no one likes to hear it. People don't like saying it, and people don't like receiving it, yet every leader has to use it. Whether it's declining a project, pushing back on unrealistic demands, or protecting the team's focus, no is essential for strong leadership. The challenge is how to deliver it without demoralizing the person or the group in front of you. And here's where it gets a little interesting and a little funny. Think about when you're out with friends at a restaurant. Have you ever noticed how people avoid saying no directly when it comes to choosing what to order or where to eat? Someone suggests a place, and you hear responses like, not sure if I'm in the mood for that. Or, what about somewhere else? Friends often use subtle techniques to decline without offending. They ignore, deflect, delay, suggest alternatives, or even make a joke to lighten the moment. They're not trying to be difficult. They want to say no without disappointing anyone. Leaders can learn from that same playbook, because when you change how you deliver no, you protect relationships, preserve morale, and still stand firm. And here's a little truth I hear from leaders again and again. Many of them say they wish they had learned to say no earlier in their careers. Doing so would have saved them time, stress, and the regret of overcommitting. One approach is to ignore the request. Though in leadership, this is usually best reserved for minor issues that don't require a direct response. Sometimes silence or moving forward without acknowledgement sends the message clearly enough. It avoids unnecessary confrontation, but leaders should use it sparingly to prevent seeming dismissive. A softer approach is to delay, saying, "Let me think about it and get back to you." Gives you space to reflect and keeps the other person from feeling shut down immediately. Delay works when you need time to weigh priorities or craft a more thoughtful explanation. Sometimes the best approach is shock or disbelief, not in a disrespectful way, but in a lighthearted one. Responding with "you can't be serious" or "that's ambitious" can reset the tone. It shows you heard them, but lets them know right away that the request is unlikely to be granted. Another helpful technique is to deflect. Redirecting the conversation toward bigger goals or different priorities takes the pressure off you as the barrier. Instead of, "No, we can't do that," you might say, "Let's stay focused on the commitments we already made." Sometimes it's important to challenge. If a request doesn't align with reality, asking, "How do you see that fitting with our current workload?" invites the other person to test their own assumption. It moves the responsibility for the no back onto the request itself. Suggesting alternatives is one of the most constructive ways to say no. Instead of stopping the momentum, you redirect it. For example, "We can't launch that now, but what if we pilot a smaller version next quarter?" People often accept a no more easily when they see another path forward. Of course, you can also explain logically. This works best when the facts are on your side. Sharing clear reasons why the answer has to be no demonstrates fairness. It removes emotion and shows you've thought it through. Another technique is to ask questions, responding with, "What's the impact if we don't do this?" Or "How urgent is this really?" prompts reflection and sometimes leads the person to reach a no themselves. You can also negotiate. Maybe the answer isn't a flat no, but a reshaped yes. For instance, "We can do this project, but only if we drop one of the others." Negotiation turns rejection into a shared decision. Sometimes the best response is silence. Pausing before you answer gives weight to your response and can make the other person reconsider their own request. And yes, there are moments when you have to say no. Be clear, be respectful, and be firm. Not every request deserves a soft landing. Sometimes the most caring thing is direct honesty. What's fascinating is how these techniques, while they sound formal in a leadership context, are things we already use in everyday life with people we care about. Friends, family, teammates, we all learn to say no in ways that soften the sting. Leaders simply need to be more intentional about choosing the proper method for the moment. Here's the bigger picture. Saying no isn't about rejecting people. It's about protecting priorities, maintaining focus, and creating the space for better yeses. A leader who can say no well keeps the team aligned without breaking spirits. So let me leave you with a few questions. How do you usually deliver no? Directly, softly, or avoiding it altogether? Which of these techniques could you add to your toolbox to preserve relationships while holding boundaries? And where in your current work would a well-placed no actually serve your team better than another yes? If you'd like to explore how to build these skills into your leadership style, visit newamsterdam.com and schedule a conversation. And if you'd like a version of Insights delivered straight to your inbox weekly, you can subscribe for free at newamsterdam.com. Until next time, continue to empower yourself and others to achieve more and make a difference.